Hello and welcome to another episode of Content Marketing Commute. I'm your host Joe. This is Mathieu. And this is my new friend, Kavitha Ramamurthy. How are you today?
Well, good. I'm excited for the podcast.
Brilliant. It is freezing.
Yes.
We both live here in the south of France, and I connected with you on LinkedIn because there's not so many English-speaking content marketers in this region. English-speaking content marketers of the Vaucluse unite. That's what I said to myself.
That's a good idea. We should start you should start a new idea with and unite all of us.
Yeah. How many? There's probably like 4 of us.
I think you can count them on your fingers. They're not many.
Totally. And this is our first car-based episode of Content Marketing Commute. I'm so excited for it. It's a chilly Tuesday morning here on the outskirts of Avignon. We're going to be going to your office. So you are content and communications at Kizeo, right?
Yeah. So I take care of marketing communications for our key English-speaking markets. Yeah. So only for our English-speaking users. I work for this company called Kizeo. It's a company that develops SaaS solutions, so software as a service. Our flagship product is called Kizeo Forms. So it's a digitalization tool, I would say, to create mobile forms, transform that data, analyze, integrate, etc., etc.
Nice. Okay. So is that primarily a B2B tool?
Yes, it's completely B2B. And it's mainly for people who are on the field. So I would say people in construction, logistics.
Okay, very cool. And yeah, so good to be chatting to you today, Kavitha. We could start driving if you want. And I'm going to make sure I try not to distract you too much. You keep your eyes on the road. And I will just, bring this microphone over to you as and when needed to get your incredible insights on content marketing. And today, actually, we're going to be discussing a cool topic, one that you brought up, which is sort of the future of content marketing. But we want to make it practical, and we want to make it kind of, really down to earth because, you can talk about the future in such an abstract. But today, we're going to be really focusing on the next 5 years of content marketing, specifically in B2B. And we're going to bring up a few different topics, so you've got to stick around to the end. But first of all, Kavitha, I need to ask you, you're an expat like me. I'm from New Zealand. You're from India. How did you end up here in the south of France?
I did my master's in Lille, which is a city in the north of France.
Yeah.
And then I did an internship there as well at this company called Colas. And I really enjoyed the work culture. I see that there's perfect work-life balance in France, but I don't like the cold that much.
Yes.
So I decided to move to the south where it's warmer and it's more beautiful. You have lavender fields, you have everything around here. So it's the best place to live. Oh man,
it is the best place to live. Today it says 1 degree on your dashboard there, and I'm freezing because usually it's like 15. And, it's been like 15 every day.
Yeah, and it's so contradictory that I'm saying I moved to a warmer place, but
usually, like the summer is amazing. The spring, summer, autumn.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. It's just the last couple of weeks has been really cold.
Yeah, but fair enough. It's allowed to be occasionally. Okay, Kavitha. So today I've got the list of topics in my head, and I want to just run through them quickly so that people stick around to the end, so that they make sure they watch all of this and listen to all of this. We're going to be talking AI, obviously, ChatGPT. It's like all the rage these days. Then we're going to get into YouTube.
Yes.
Is it the sleeping giant in B2B? Short form video, cookieless, zero click search is a big one.
Yeah.
And finally, we're going to talk a little bit about AR, VR, and like the Metaverse.
Everything that's exciting for any content marketer.
Yes, love it. So let's start with AI. And if you're in content marketing, you would have heard of this little thing called ChatGPT and maybe Google Bard. A lot of different thoughts on ways to use it and excitement around what it can do.
Yeah.
Could you just summarize for us how you'd be thinking about using it and maybe how you wouldn't use it?
Well, I use ChatGPT personally. It's to pre-match my work, I would say. So it's more like my very own C3PO.
Nice.
So what I do is I think it's good for market research. So if before I start off my content piece, I I collect information, I would say, on ChatGPT. But I don't think it's a complete solution. So it's not that you just put your questions in there and then you get your article and then publish it. Yeah. I think you have to humanize it and you have to adapt it to your audience. Yeah. So it's not perfect, but I think it's a great foundation for your work. I also use it for video scripts and for, I like to create interactive stuff. So I like to use it to do surveys, puzzles and other stuff.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think like you said, what I've been hearing from people and what I agree with is that it kind of gets you started on something. And and someone said to me once, like, it means, you know, you'll never have a blank page again in your life.
Yep.
And that's quite a cool way to look at it, because if you're looking at like, I can just pump out all the stuff, that's totally the wrong way, and the quality is really poor, right? But if you can use it as a start,
it's a perfect foundation, like I said, I think. And also it helps you analyze the work you do. You can also check if your tone is right, and I think it's the best tool to structure your content.
Yeah, brilliant. That's really good insight. So I think what people though kind of miss is that ChatGPT is only one kind of tool in generative AI. Have you played with anything else, or have you seen anything else, or any other use cases?
There's one more tool, but that I haven't personally used, but I've heard a lot about. It's called Claude.
Okay. How do you spell that?
It's like the French name Claude, CLUDE.
CLUDE.
It's apparently quite good as well, but I think where I see the use a lot more is probably integrating it as a part of your product, do product marketing all over. I think that's the future of artificial intelligence.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. And you already see lots of SaaS products where it's like AI powered, and they've obviously just built something in ChatGPT and connected it,
right? I think it is the future of SaaS, at least.
Yeah.
And even in B2B, I have heard of AI being used everywhere in B2B, be it product marketing, be it personalization. I think the future of marketing is also, the current and the future of marketing is personalization. Everybody wants specific content, specific information, and I think AI is a tool that can help you achieve it.
Yeah, awesome, really cool. One other use case I've seen a little bit, and before we move on to the next one, because we want to make this punchy and just like short on each of these topics, is kind of like image creation. And there's this tool called Midjourney. Have you heard of Midjourney?
Oh, no,
there's so many different ones. But basically, like, I think it's a cool tool in terms of like, so many companies still have like stock photography on their website, and it's awful. You can immediately tell what's a stock photo.
Yeah.
But it's essentially a generative AI tool, and there's a few of them, to create images like based on prompts. So, and they look really lifelike, like photos almost.
That's kind of scary also, in a way.
So much of this is really quite scary. And maybe that we should call this the scary episode.
Yeah.
The future is sometimes scary.
The horror story.
The horror story. Okay, let's move on to the next one, Kavitha. YouTube, okay? And YouTube's not new, obviously. It's been around for a very long time. But there's a sense that B2B companies have never really done YouTube particularly well. Maybe they just throw up the odd webinar recording, but it's the second largest search engine.
Yeah.
And I was thinking specifically focused on that thought of AI and kind of written SEO kind of going to have to change a lot. Potentially video search is a huge game changer.
I think there's just this preconceived notion that YouTube is just for B2C. I totally disagree. I think the problem is people don't have enough budget, because I think a video, you need I think you know this very well. You need tools, you need to edit, you need to publish, so it's not that easy. But I think it is the right space for B2B. You can have thought leaders share YouTube videos on or even like skilled experts. I think it's a great place to be also for B2B influencers. It's too bad that people are not using it as much as you'd think they would.
Yeah, totally. I think there's a sense of like, it's not, we have our B2B channels like LinkedIn or whatever, and it's more of a B2C channel, like you said, and we kind of ignore it. But if you look at it that way, it's the second biggest search engine in the world after Google. Like, we shouldn't be ignoring it.
And also it's Google owns YouTube, so
Yeah.
if there's something to be working on, you have to be working on YouTube.
Totally.
And that's something we do at work also. I think we focus a lot on, so it's not like I think it is the future, because we've already started at my workplace to work on a lot of YouTube videos. We have our own channel, we have categories. I think the future would be trying to speak to a couple of influencers and do co-branded content.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, because so much of it goes along with, I think, the creator economy and possibly brands leaning into like people, individuals who are already big on YouTube and maybe not trying to do it all yourself, but like collaborating. I think that's a really cool idea.
Yeah, it's like a win-win situation. So why not use that opportunity?
Yeah, for sure. Here we are at a big roundabout. Kavitha's doing a great job sharing her insights and driving us safely to work.
Well, hopefully we make it safely.
Okay, cool. So yeah, that's YouTube. Another related one is short form video. So
yeah,
this has been around for a while. All the youths are TikToking. They're ticking and talking all over the place. But it's vertical short form videos even come to Instagram. It's come to YouTube with shorts. What's your thoughts on that for B2B?
Oh, I personally love short form videos. I don't see anybody these days really take the time out to read a blog, a case study. It's like you need time for that.
Yeah.
Look at us, we're doing a podcast on the way to work. So what would you do on the way to work? You need to do something that's simple. People like simplicity.
Yeah.
And I think video is a great way to achieve that. And we as human beings, we like everything that we want all our senses to be stimulated. So it's not just reading stuff. So I think video is a great way to achieve that. And I think for B2B, it's a great place. You can have so many categories in B2B. You can have testimonials, you can have case studies, you can have product demos, and also you can do co-branded content. Like I said, you can work with influencers in B2B. And I think what's great about videos is also analytics. I think marketers love analytics. So you have all the information you need out of the video, and you can adapt your content accordingly based on how your audience responds to it.
Yeah, really cool. And almost that sense of like it being vertical, a lot of times it's built for mobile.
Yeah.
And I think my sense, I don't know what you think, is that like in B2B we have a sense that it's always people sitting down at their desk on a desktop computer. But these are still people who have lives and mobile, and so much of the content we consume online is mobile.
Yes, I totally agree. Even myself, I don't look at LinkedIn at all on the desktop. I always use it on my phone.
Yeah.
So it's true that it's very important to make any content that you create mobile friendly. I would say even responsive, because it could be tablet, or make it available for everybody to consume. And I think with vertical content, what's great is you can do, I've seen a lot of surveys and polls as a vertical content, and I think it's a great way to do content marketing today.
Yeah, really cool. So have we arrived at the car park?
Yep.
Wow. Here we are.
I'm going to try.
You're going to reverse. We won't judge you. It's caught on camera, but we're not going to judge you. Okay, so that is short form video. We've already got through 3 topics. Fantastic. And we've arrived. So maybe, are we going to hop out and do a little walk? Or?
Yeah, we can walk around.
Brilliant. We're going to walk around. We'll see you in a sec. Cool, so here we are, Kavitha. Where are we in relation to the office? Is it over this way?
It's that way.
It's that way, okay.
Yeah,
nice.
so
we can just wander.
Walk you there, and you could have a look at our office.
That'd be a pleasure. Well, so we got through 3 topics. Next, we're going to change tack a little bit, and it's going to get maybe a tiny bit more technical. Let's focus in on search still, because we talked about YouTube being the second biggest search engine. 0-click search, right? And so if you haven't seen this, well, you might have if you go on Google, which probably everyone does, is sometimes you'll search things now on Google and it'll give you a result or give you information without you having to click through to a website, right? Yeah. So what do you think this means for B2B, or do you have reflections on that, Kavitha?
Yeah, I think you've got to write content correctly now if you want to show up as a snippet.
Yeah.
You've got to really understand your audience, what kind of questions they're asking, and design your responses accordingly. And a good solution to this is really diversify your content. So you have the same information in different forms, be it a blog, be it a video. So your chances of coming up as a snippet is slightly high.
Yeah.
And a good solution for a lot of local businesses, if your B2B business is only local, would also work on your local SEO strategy.
Yeah, nice. Okay. And I guess it all speaks to keeping up to date with, like, obviously Google's always changing things, and we are a little bit kind of a prisoner to them in some ways, but keeping up to date with what they're doing, and zero-click is a huge trend that possibly changes the way you need to do your content, right?
Yeah. So I also use this tool called mind mapping, which helps a lot in terms of being shown up as a snippet. So it gives you ideas on what kind of questions people are asking around the topic.
Yeah.
And also it shows you the snippets that are already available. So you can be the first to enter another space.
Oh, great.
I would say.
Is it called mind mapping?
Yeah.
Okay, I've got to get the link for that. Awesome. Yeah, and one question on that zero-click thing, Kavitha, is like, I guess it also changes the mindset for a lot of B2B marketers, because, you know, we're pretty obsessed sometimes with tracking things and being able to measure things, right? And getting people to our website so that they can take an action on our website is a big thing. But this almost changes the game in terms of someone consuming information from you without even having to click. So you're not going to be able to measure that in a sense.
So again, I think simplicity is the key. You can't write pages of stuff just imagining, oh, your SEO is great. I think you've got to write the right responses for your audience. And so if I type in a question, my response is one sentence. Where do I find Kizeo, for example? Yeah. And I have the address pop up on Kizeo, on Google, sorry. So I think it's really looking forward to these kind of topics and writing simple answers with the right keywords. And I think it's the best way to show up as a snippet.
Yeah, cool. Okay, second to last topic, let's get onto this one. It's cookieless, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Cookieless. And, you know, don't worry, you'll still be able to eat your cookies, but you might not see them so much on your internet browser, because you've probably been following, I think it was a little while ago, Google. We're talking so much about Google today, I don't really know why. Well, they're pretty big. They announced that Google Chrome from 2024 will be getting rid of third-party cookies, and Firefox has already done that, a couple of other browsers have already done that. So how are you seeing this for B2B and specifically for content? What does it mean, you reckon?
I think it's like a horror story, I would say, for a lot of marketers. But I think I see it more like an opportunity. I think already with the GDP, we are almost getting there. It's only opt-in marketing right now. So I think you can't
it kind of raises the bar for everyone.
Yeah, definitely. You can't just mass produce content. You've got to do quality over quantity. So I think you really have to, as I said, understand your audience. And then design your content accordingly and make it more interesting. And also target different phases of the buyer's journey, as we call it. So I think it's not just, oh, here's a blog, go read it. It's, you have to provide something that's valuable, that people would like to read, and not just mass produce content.
Yeah, and it's really, I think in a way, it's exciting for people like you and I, Kavitha, who are doing content right. And you know, I just put that out there. I'm being very humble, but no, who are actually like taking the time to think about producing content that's interesting and valuable, rather than just tricking people into, I don't know, doing something. Clickbait, So in a way, I think it's going to make great content stand out all the more. And
Definitely.
And focusing on that kind of opt-in. You already mentioned GDPR, so it's like maybe it's a bit of a continuation of a trend, right? Already.
I think it's just gonna get it's gonna become larger, I think. Because I think privacy is a big thing now. And personally, if you speak about ourselves, I don't like to be bombarded by ads all the time.
No, I don't.
I
we sort of forget that as marketers, that personally we don't like it, but then we do it to other people.
So I think that's the change that we need. We need to think that we are marketing it to ourselves. We need to step into the shoes of our customers. So it's just really understanding your audience. And if you don't read it yourself, then no one's going to read it.
Yeah, no, really good call. So here it is, Kizeo. There, that's the office. Brilliant. And that's fantastic timing because we're on to our last topic. Just to like sum up where we are at right now, though, I think so much of what we've touched on, if we're talking about the future of content in the next 5 years, it's about quality and it's about permission-based and like privacy, like you said, and it's about raising the bar in a lot of ways, I think. And there's these things that seem scary in terms of new technologies or new trends that are happening, but if you focus on doing content right and creating stuff that's interesting to people, you should be fine.
Yeah, I think you can't just do content for the sake of doing it. You've got to be passionate about it. You've got to really spend some time on it. You can't just go on ChatGPT and put your stuff and sell it.
Yeah, for sure. Totally agree. Do we want to keep walking? Yeah, cool. Okay, so final kind of topic, and this one
is a big one.
It's a big one, and it possibly gets a little bit airy-fairy, but let's try and make it as practical as we can, is kind of AR, VR, and the Metaverse. And so maybe these are kind of like three sort of different things in a way, but all kind of interlinked. You know, is this even a B2B thing right now, or will it be?
Yes, I think it's a totally B2B thing.
Yeah.
I think it's more B2B than B2C also sometimes. Right. I think it's mainly because if you see when we had the COVID, and I think a lot of B2B people rely on trade shows.
Yeah.
And I think that's where AR and VR could come into place, and you have virtual trade shows. People can actually experience your product, experience your stand, and it's also like virtual networking now. So I think it's the future of marketing for sure.
Yeah, wow. I think one thing with because AR, right? That's like, you see that with things like Pokemon Go and that, where it's like overlaid onto the real world. I wasn't a big Pokemon Goer, but I see there's a lot of use cases in that, especially because people have phones and they have the hardware. But VR for me, it gets a bit confusing in terms of no one's got a headset, and will they get there's got to be a big step of everyone getting a headset.
Yeah, I think it will get there, but I think it's not here yet. But I think there's so many other use cases you can think of. I would say also people like to do personalization and imagine experiencing your product in different colors with just a touch of a button. Yeah. I think, it's not here yet, but I think it won't be too long before it arrives. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, and maybe in the Metaverse will be sort of
go that way.
Yeah, no worries. Will be these sort of you talked about interactive content experiences. That's a whole nother level. Maybe we'll be in Kizeo world.
Yeah, and I think that's something I love to do. It's also I love gaming, so
cool.
It's sort of something that I would like to integrate also in marketing. It's just too bad that it's not here yet, but we could be, which is even more interesting. You could be the first to start. Yeah,
you could be the first to start. That's a cool way to look at it as well. It's I think a lot of times in B2B, we follow these playbooks that are very established, and we do what everyone else is doing.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest mistake to make. I think the biggest opportunities is working on something that no one's done.
Yeah, really cool. Really cool. Okay, well, we've run through, I think, 6 really cool topics about the future of content marketing and what it might look like in the next 5 years. Kavitha, do you have any final words before we let you get to the office and get some great work done?
Yeah, I'm making a switch.
No, that's all right. Switch.
Well, I think my main thing to look at content marketing is always quality over quantity and innovation. I'm a 90s kid. I'm not on TikTok and all of that yet. But I think if you don't think about the future, you're just going to rot. You're going to stagnate. So I think you really got to focus on innovation and be the first to start working on it.
Yeah, really cool. Okay, so that's the takeaway. Have a go. Look at these new things. Have a go and be the first mover.
Yeah.
Because you could really see some big benefits from that.
Definitely agree.
Brilliant. Well, it's been fantastic, Kavitha, and wish you a very good day at work here.
Thank you.
Kizeo in Montfavet on the outskirts of Avignon.
Slightly warmer in the office.
Slightly warmer in the office. My hands are getting quite chilly. But this has been great. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode. Please do subscribe and hit that notification bell. And yeah, we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.